If you're working with Python, you know you're constantly combining lists. It seems simple, right? But how you do it can actually be a pretty big deal for your code's performance and just how clear it is. Today, we're going to totally master this skill.
So let's start with a basic question. How do you combine two lists? Seems straightforward, but the answer really gets to the heart of a super important idea in Python. Are you making something brand new, or are you changing something that's already there? Getting this right is honestly the key to writing clean code that doesn't have weird, hard-to-find bugs.
We're going to explore 3 essential ways to join lists. And I promise, by the end of this, you'll know exactly which tool to grab for any situation. It's all about making your code not just work, but work smarter and faster.
All right, let's dive into our 3 main players. We've got the simple plus operator, the classic append method, and the really powerful extend method. Each one has its own unique way of getting the job done. First up is the plus operator. This is probably the one that feels the most natural when you're starting out. Now, the most important thing to remember here, the big takeaway, is that it creates a brand new third list. Your original 2 lists, they're left completely alone, totally untouched. Let's see what that looks like in code. So we've got our list 1 with some letters and list 2 with some numbers. The magic happens right here on this line. List 3 equals list 1 plus list 2. Notice we're assigning the result to a totally new variable, list 3. That's the key. We're making a new home for the combined elements. And the output is exactly what you'd expect, right? List 3 is now a single, new list holding everything from list 1 and then everything from list 2. It's simple, it's effective, and your original lists are perfectly safe. Okay, but what if you don't want to create a whole new list? Maybe you just want to add stuff to an existing one. Well, our second technique uses the append method, usually inside a loop. This approach is fundamentally different because we're going to modify one of the original lists directly. So using our same 2 lists, we're now going to loop through every single item in list 2. And for each one of those items, we call list1.append, which tacks it on to the very end of our first list piece by piece. Now, the final list looks identical to what we got with the plus operator, but what happened behind the scenes is completely different. There's no list 3 this time. Instead, we've permanently changed list 1. This is called modifying a list in place, and it's a really important concept to keep in mind. And that brings us to our third method, the extend method. Now listen, if your goal is simply to add all the items from one list onto the end of another, this is without a doubt the most direct and efficient way to do it. It's literally the tool built for this exact job. And just look how clean the code is. There's no need for a loop at all. We just tell list 1 to extend itself with everything from list 2. Just like the append loop, this modifies list 1 in place, but it does it all in one single super optimized step. And the result? Yep, it's that same combined list we've been aiming for. We've changed list 1 directly, but we did it way more efficiently and with much cleaner code than using that append loop. So we have 3 different methods that can all give us the same final output. The big question now is, which one should you choose and when? How do you decide? This table breaks it down perfectly. Just look at that middle column, effect on original list. That's the absolute critical difference. The plus operator leaves your lists alone. Both append and extend change the original. So if you just need to merge lists efficiently, extend is your best friend. But if you need to keep those original lists intact, you have to use the plus operator. It really just boils down to this one simple question. Do I want to change my list, or do I want to create a new one? If you're modifying, extend is the performance winner, hands down. If you're preserving the originals, the plus operator is the clear and safe choice. Seriously, knowing this difference can save you from some really confusing headaches later on. Okay, let's do a quick recap to make sure all this sticks. We'll do a quick knowledge check and then wrap up with the most important points to remember. All right, pop quiz time. Based on what we just covered, how would you join list 1 and list 2 if your goal was to create a totally separate new list called list 3 without touching the originals at all? And the answer is list 3 equals list 1 plus list 2. If you got that, awesome, that's exactly right. The plus operator is the one that's designed specifically to give you a new list, leaving your originals safe and sound. So from now on, whenever you're about to join 2 lists, just take a second and ask yourself, what's my goal here? Is it absolutely critical that I keep my original lists? Or do I just need the fastest possible performance to add items to this one list? The answers to those questions will point you to the perfect method every single time. And just like that, you have a really solid foundation for joining lists in Python. But hey, don't stop here. As a fun next step, what do you think would happen if your lists had other lists inside of them? Go try it out in your own code editor and see what you discover. Thanks so much for joining me.